Hello there ladies and gentlemen, I am the CHALL and welcome to another video. Now today we are speaking about two huge transfer stories on the Doncaster Rovers front. So before we get started, make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell to next YouTube video, and for now let's get into this video. So we're going to start off with one particular player from the Rangers squad that's been mentioned as a potential move for the Rovers, and it's Kai Kennedy. Doncaster, as in Doncaster Rovers, Tampa Bay and Memphis are seeking a deal for Kai Kennedy. This is an exclusive from Fraser Fletcher. Now Rangers are keen to sell as they are high earners and won't play in the first team and have been out on numerous loan deals. So who is Kai Kennedy from Rangers Football Club? Well, here is some stats on the player. So he's out on loan at the moment at Scottish League One side Falkirk, who are second in their table. Now this guy has 2 goals and 3 assists in 14 appearances for Falkirk. He's out of contract in 6 months, so there's room here for a permanent deal anyway. He's a left winger, but he can also play as a number 10, so if we do need to switch the formation around, then we can play him as a sort of number 10 role, but primarily he's a left winger. So when you look at the wingers the club currently have on their books, you have John Taylor, who's out for the rest of the season. You have Tommy Rowe, who can play in that position, however is better suited to the midfield or can play at left wing back. You have Charlie Seaman, who can play further forward on the right hand side, but is better as a right wing back. You got Aidan Barlow. You've also got Todd Miller. You got Carl Hurst. You've got Jack DeGrucci, who's out on loan at the moment. But when you look at the senior squad and the out and out wingers you have Hurst and Molyneux, you have Barlow, you have Taylor, and then you have Miller. For me, you'd have Taylor and Hurst competing on that left hand side, but Taylor's not fit for the rest of the season, so you just have Hurst on that side. And then you have Miller, and then you also have Molyneux on that right hand side, and Barlow interchanging in between, but for me he's personally better as a right hand sided player. But I think he might be loaned out by the end of this window anyway. So if you take Barlow out of the equation potentially, you've then got 2 wingers on that right hand side. So that leaves the left hand side with an extra player needed to compete with Carl Hurst, and that brings in Kai Kennedy. Now if you put in Kennedy into the equation, you then have Hurst and Kennedy on one side, and then Molyneux and Todd Miller on the other side. So you'd have competition for places on either side, which would balance the books out a lot more. Loan Barlow out, Taylor's out for the rest of the season, and then you've got a couple of players like your Seaman and your Rowe that can play as a winger or further forward from their usual positions, but only if necessary. So I think that overall, I think Kai Kennedy would provide a very good young development addition to the squad. I think he'll provide a lot of potential. It seems like some Rangers fans seem to rate him quite highly in the academy, and it's a shame that he didn't get much of a chance in the senior team or much of a look in. So I think we're looking here at a really good young player that we can develop over the next few years or so, and that's the overriding sort of age of the squad. It's development, and this squad's going to be our core for the next few years, so it's going to be important to develop these players. Now then, someone who isn't going to be part of the development age is Caolan Lavery. I put out a tweet on social media after what I was told. We are expecting an announcement. As you're watching this is uploaded on the Sunday morning, so we should be expecting an announcement on the day you're watching this. So tomorrow, Sunday, the day you're watching this, you should be expecting an announcement on the signing of Caolan Lavery. The announcement is expected later today, of the signing of Scunthorpe United striker Caolan Lavery to Doncaster Rovers. Unsure yet on the length of the deal. I would personally be expecting maybe something short term, maybe till the end of the season, or maybe we're looking at an 18-month contract here, maybe a 12-month contract, so it goes until the end of next January. Now the forward scored 8 goals in 18 appearances in the Vanarama National League this season, with bottom of the league Scunthorpe United, who, you know, we all know has gone through the worst times any club could go through. And it's very, very important we keep sharing all the Scunthorpe stories. It's very important that we keep sharing their tales of woe, because we've got to get the word out there that Scunthorpe is a club just waiting to be taken over. We know that Sharp and their bid has been pulled out, negotiations have been pulled out. They're looking for a new buyer for the club now. So yeah, they're looking for a new buyer now, and we need to get the word out there. Scunthorpe, they're a rival. They're a rival, and you put rivalries aside, you want those derbies still. And Scunthorpe United are a club that needs protecting. We need to be protecting these lower English football clubs, so please go and spread the word out. I have left some links to Scunthorpe United's website in the description down below, so if the off chance any potential buyers of football clubs are watching this and are very interested in Scunthorpe, go and check out their history and all that malarkey. And yeah, go and check it all out. So, Caolan Lavery. I know there's been a lot of concern on socials about this from fans, from some fans, and some fans are like, well, it just looks like another journeyman striker, it just looks like one of those signings that just isn't going to last, what's the point in doing this, that, the other. I do have a gut theory about this one compared to the other ones. If you compare this one to the likes of Joe Dodo, you know, players like that, I think I've got a gut theory about this one. And the reason, and this is my gut theory, I think someone short term for the next 18 months to cover the rotational duties of strikers will allow the development of bigger potential strikers much younger, such as Jack Goodman, such as any other young striker we bring in the summer maybe. So let's have a look at the striking options we've got already. So we've got George Miller, looks like it's going to be Caolan Lavery as well, Kieran Agard and Rio Griffiths. Rio Griffiths I maybe expect to be loaned out, but I don't know for sure. Agard's out of contract at the end of the season. Do I expect him to leave? I don't know. Agard seems to be feeling home at Rovers. Feels like, you know, his family seems to love it here. And I wouldn't expect Agard to go unless it was for more game time somewhere else, either lower down or at a different club. So I wouldn't expect Agard to go unless he felt it was the right decision. So I'd be looking then at Lavery and Miller. So let's say, for example, Agard does decide to go at the end of the season and Rio does get loaned out. You got Lavery, you got Miller. Lavery for me would provide the rotational, and then you've got the development of the likes of Jack Goodman. You've got the development of bringing in maybe like another couple of strikers of a younger age to develop and make into first team stars. And Danny Schofield's main aim here is development, consistency and development. So when you've got a head coach that likes to develop players, you can bring in those young strikers, but then you've got your experienced guys to cover and rotate to allow that development to happen. The likes of a Caolan Lavery will provide that kind of cover. He knows, I think he knows deep down he's not going to start every single game, because look at George Miller right now. Yes, he hasn't scored in a load of games, but he's going to be our number 9. He's our number 9. He's the guy that we're going to be pushing for the next few years, hopefully, if everything goes to plan. So, Lavery for me would be that experienced rotational backup. I think he knows he's going to be a bench player at Rovers. He was starting for Scunthorpe, but I know for a fact he's probably going to be a bench player for Rovers. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, and the reason why it's not such a bad thing is because this guy's got 8 goals in 18 games in a side bottom of the league. So this guy knows where the net is. He's been the only goal threat for Scunthorpe, arguably. I don't know much about Scunthorpe this season, but from what I understand, he seems to be the only threat up front. And he's a hard worker. There's evidence from Scunthorpe fans that he works for the badge, and he's different from when he was back in the Football League years ago. You know, this guy's 30 years old, he's Canadian and a bit of Northern Irish in there. And, you know, compared to his early Football League days a few years back, it seems like he's really working for the badge. It seems like he's really going for it now, especially in his sort of prime age. So I think what we've got here is a Caolan Lavery that's entered that prime age, and has, I'd say, maybe 5 years left minimum of his career. So you're looking at that and you're thinking you've got an experienced guy here who's been there, done that, experienced all these different, you know, moments in the Football League before, gone to non-league, done it at Scunthorpe, and now he's coming back to the Football League to try and prove a point here. I think that's the reason. I think that's one of the reasons behind this transfer, to prove a point to the Football League and to the past of the Football League, that he still has something to deliver in a side that's going to try and get into a playoff spot this season. So Lavery for me is quite I think for the development of younger strikers such as Jack Goodman, anyone we might bring in the summer, I think for that reason, and I think for proving a point, or trying to prove a point, or attempting to prove a point, and work hard to prove a point, I think it could actually be an astute signing compared to some of the other so-called journeyman players that we've signed in recent years. So there's something about Lavery compared to other journeyman players, and by journeyman we don't mean, you know, rejected players. We're talking players that have gone to loads of different clubs. I think compared to other journeyman style players, I think Lavery could be an exception here, but only if he continues to do what he's done at Scunthorpe, and that's work for the badge, play hard every week, and just find the back of the net when called upon. So that's what we need from him. That's all we ask of him. If the announcement is indeed later today, welcome to the club, Caolan Lavery, in advance. Kai Kennedy, hopefully you are next to join. Of course, we're battling with Tampa Bay and Memphis exclusively from Fraser Fletcher for that signature for the Rangers youngster. So again, another development player on that left wing we can help mature and get him ready in the senior world of football and English football. And I think English football is a great development platform for the likes of a Kai Kennedy. So thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe. And for now, I am the CHALL. Ta-ra for now.